Yeah. Player gods ruined the game. I actually was well in favor of them removing the player gods. Okay, so yeah, for those of you who weren't part of this whole thing, um, back when they did this, there was an old mechanic in the game where you could, as a player, you had to do a whole bunch of stuff. It was like I can't even tell you what all of it was, but it was related to the sorcery system, and it was related to the Valray mission system on Epic, on the Epic servers. And hey, Severo, what's going on? We're just getting into the weeds here. This is going to take a while. Um, because I just realized that people don't even know what the mission system is if you started on the new Steam servers because they haven't added the mission system back. Okay, so the mission system from the PvE perspective, so if you're on a PvE server, the mission system was a way for you to sort of participate in the Valray system that was on Epic. Okay. And what you did was it'll come up with like Venora wishes that you sacrifice a certain number of bowls or something like that. So you got to start making bowls and sacrifice them, and you're watching the progression go up. And when you finish the mission, like, and it's a server wide, so everybody's like sacrificing bowls, and everybody who sacrifices a bowl gets put into the pool of people who have contributed to this mission. And when the mission finishes, everybody gets reward. It usually came in the form of sleep bonus and karma, which is another thing that people probably don't know about. Karma, if you go into your body, manage. Wait a minute. Did they not add karma to this either? Or am I just missing it? Where, yeah, I don't see karma either. Or maybe I'm missing something about the requirement for using karma. Anyway, you get some rewards. Okay, so that's from the PvE perspective. That's what it felt like. Like you're doing these missions, you're sacrificing bowls, or you're creating. I don't know. There's a bunch of different types of missions, and you're working together as a server. And when you complete the mission, you get sleep bonus and some other reward. There's karma. Okay, where's karma though? I always thought karma was like right here. Like I can't use it because I don't have spells yet. Yeah. No, but karma's not only spells, right? You can there's okay. Anyway, I'll get to what karma is another time. um, I need to, okay. I think you need to have karma to use it. Okay. I actually have karma here, so let's do that. And I'm carrying all these kindlings, so I'm walking really slow. Okay, but I have karma over here. It's right here. I just got to remember how to use it. Okay, so you see these source crystals? These source crystals. Can I disembark over there? No. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna. I have to. Okay, never mind. I'm just gonna walk slow. Okay, I'll just get some karma. How about that? I'm still walking slow. Okay. Do I need a hammer for this? This has been a while since I've done this. I think it's activate hammer, crush. No, that's not what I'm supposed to do. Right click. Oh, okay, yeah, source salt. Right click, eat. Okay. Karma. Okay, there it is. So you crush your source crystals, you eat them, and it gives you karma. Okay. When you click on the karma, it gives you the things that you can do with it. Okay. Yeah, mining cocaine. Pretty much. Okay. And then the one that you kind of want to work towards is the summon corpse one. So you kind of want to have this 3,000 karma in your bank at some point. It looks like one source crystal gave me 30 karma. So I would need 300 source crystals for 3,000 karma. You collect it over time. When the missions come, you finish the mission, you get more karma, right? Like there's other ways of getting karma besides source crystals. And they also mentioned that they're going to bring back source wells. What do they call it? Source fountains, which is another way of getting karma. Like, so there's a bunch of different ways of getting karma. And you want to get to this 3001 and have that in the bank in the very unlikely case where you die in a very unfortunate place. Source springs, that's what they're called. Because if you die in a very unfortunate place where you can't get access to your body, which are there's a few places like this. Like one that I can think of is that you're out in the middle of the ocean on a boat, like so far away from anything, and then the what's it called? That big dragon thing that's in the water, the sea serpent, comes and eats you, and you're like, I, how am I gonna find my boat again? How am I gonna find my corpse again? I mean, I've been in that situation before, and there's only a few ways to get out of that situation. Another situation is like you fall down a really far drop shaft, down one that you can't climb back out of, right? And then you die down there somehow. Or yeah, mountain climbing and you climb into like there's a bunch of situations in which your corpse is like gone. Like there's no way without like insane like GM powers or something, you're not going to get your corpse back. You want to have this just in case, right? And I was talking about karma. Oh yeah, missions and the old gods. Never got to the end of that story. So the only way that you could become a player god and participate in that aspect of the game is if you were a player on Epic. And in order to do that, you had to collect all of the tombs and apply them to your character. And tombs are really hard to get. They drop off of the unique mobs. And then later they added another way of getting them, so it started becoming easier to get them. But at first they were really hard to get. So you need to collect all the tombs. And then there's a whole thing else that you had to do that I have no idea what it is, but it's called getting the key to the heavens. I have no idea what was involved in that. I'm sure most people don't know what's involved in that, and that only the very few people who actually made it that far kind of had to try to figure it out. And then it was all tied to the Valray game, which also I don't know anything about. It's only available on Epic, and it had to do with the mission system on Epic. Every time that an Epic player completed a mission, it somehow progressed this board where the gods lived on Valray, which is one of the moons. And you can watch the progress of these gods on some third party thing. You can see where all the gods are, and as the missions progress, the gods move along the board. I didn't learn about this system at all because I never played on Epic. And eventually, some event had to happen that allowed a player to become a demigod. And when that happens, a whole new religion is born named after that player. So, like, if you could believe it, one of the player gods was named Nathan because the character Nathan became a god. And so you could follow Nathan and you get all the spells that Nathan grants you. And the way that the spells were distributed was it was literally a hodgepodge of all the available spells in the game randomly given to this god. It was like they randomly rolled like of all the spells from all the gods that were currently in the game, like the Libela, they didn't make new spells at all. They just used the old spells, and they just said, Nathan, you get these 40 spells, and Najo, you get these 40 spells. And it was like it felt random, like what spells they got. Maybe it was random and that they like tweaked it a little bit or something like that. But yeah, Brianna, I do Brianna. Yeah, tomes are so annoying to get. Please post the rig that I intend to build. Yeah, I might. Yeah, I might do that. Yeah, red cherries was definitely one of the tomes, although not all the tomes were called tomes. They were like red cherries, green cherry, these things. I think my character had a green cherry on it. Um, oh, open the top menu bar and tools and Valray map. There it is. Ah, they brought it into the game at some point. Yeah, I don't even know what this is. Like, I'm looking at this, I don't even know what it is. Wild opal. Like, no, I don't know what this is. There's a no gump there. Something happens. Fights? What is fights? Okay, so it's like the list of things that happened. Foe versus the dirt must stomping grounds. Like, you guys are looking at this stuff and seeing the same thing I am. If you never seen this before, I don't know what it is. Like, something happens. There's like, as missions progress, it causes foe who's like right here right now moves to another spot and eventually runs into this no gump and has a fight with it and wins or loses and whatever. I don't even know. Something happened. And there's some event that's rare that could happen that happens that if some player has the key to the heavens and somehow does something and some event happens here, like I don't know exactly what, some rare event, and then boom, that player becomes a god. And the first time it happened, it was like amazing. Like, everybody's like, wow, that player became a god. And now I can follow that god. And we have a whole new set of spells, like a spell set that we can play with. And that was awesome. Like, I thought that idea was awesome. But it became very clear over the next few years why the system would fail in the long run. Um, and the reason why it failed was because people started figuring out how to become gods. And then another person became a god, and then another person, and then another person. And next thing you knew, we had like 9 or 10 of these people who became gods, and it was just getting out of control. Like, and it's not like there's new spells, it's like just a new set of spells. And then we had one god that had Wind of Ages, Life Transfer, Genesis, Courier, Strongwall, like, and that one god became the god that everybody became because that god had every spell that you could cast, like that you would want to cast. And then there's like no need for any more player gods because this one god has every spell that you'd want, right? Like, it just got out of control. Like, it just was, uh, like, maybe if they made it, like, I know they made it hard to become a god, but once the first person figured it out, it like didn't take long for the second person to do it, and then it took even less time for the third person to do it. And then there was like a time where like 3 people did it in the same week. It was just like getting out of control. Out of control. And yeah, and then since some of the gods just became overpowered in terms of the spell list that they got, it just threw everything out of balance. Like nobody was a Magrenon priest anymore. And how it affected chaos, like the PvP side of things, I don't even, because the gods there are like, there's something tied directly to the gods. Like, the way it used to be and the way it is now again is that if you're a blacklight kingdom, then you can be a Libela follower or a Libela priest, but you can't be any of the others. Like, you're tied to Libela, right? And so, and if you're the white light gods, you can be one of the other 3, but not Libela. And Libela was supposed to be balanced to be stronger than each individual other gods, because the white light side, like the white side, would have Venora, Foe, and Magrenon to choose from, and so you'd have those 3 types of priests on the white side, and you'd only have Libela on the other side, right? And so there was like some balance that was happening there, and that balance just got completely thrown out the window when the player gods were happening. Right? They spent, yeah, totally. Like, I totally felt that it took a long time for them to get to the point where they became gods. Like, it was really hard and a lot of work. But it was like the first person made it to the finish line, and there was like 9 people behind that person. And it was just like, and next thing you know, we had like And they didn't. I almost feel like they didn't really think through that process of how to balance it all at the end. Right. So anyway, they decided before the Steam launch, but I'm pretty sure it was like in relation to the Steam launch. Like, we're going to release this to Steam. We need to look at our game and make sure it's all ready for the launch. Maybe Player Gods is something we want to like back out on it now before it gets out of hand again. Um, and so they did. They got rid of them and brought it back to just the four main gods, which I think is a good thing. Like, I really think it was good for the game. Most people agreed, I would say. Like, most people were in the situation where they're like, thank goodness they are going back. I'm sure there was a few people who weren't as happy, but I think it was good for the game in the end. Okay. Let's light this stuff up, heat up the forge, and we'll get to another topic. Unless you guys have questions about that stuff. Yeah, I mean, but don't they still have the tombs, right? Like, I know you, like, so Norris is saying he feels bad for the gods that spent their money to get the tombs, which it was a lot of money. Some of those tombs were like 150 euro. Um, but they still keep the tombs. It's just that their like their name isn't on the god. Like, yeah, they don't have a god, but they still get the benefits of the tombs.